Hey guys, Coriel here with Twitchers Fishing, and we're going to just quickly talk about 4 or 5 different types of lures that I use for pike fishing because they work. They're tried and true, and everybody's been using them for years. If you don't believe me, try it. You'll be catching pike before you know it. So right off the bat, we're going to just introduce the spoons. Okay, come in many different sizes, many different colors. A couple different manufacturers producing spoons, but they all do the same thing, and as you can see, they get their name because they resemble a spoon. Nice thing about spoons, you can fish them anywhere. You can fish them any depth. You can troll with the spoon, you can cast a spoon, you can retrieve it really quickly, or you can retrieve it slowly. And depending on your retrieval speed, that's going to determine whether you're fishing them closer to the bottom or just underneath the surface or somewhere in the middle. Spoons, great way to catch pike. And if there's pike, there's generally going to be walleye, and you'll be catching walleye on spoons as well. It works. Okay. Number 2, spinner baits. I love spinner baits. I don't know what it is, but catching pike on spinner baits, a lot of fun. Same thing. It comes in several different colors, and depending on the clarity of the water, you're gonna have to kind of figure out what is going to entice them that day and what color is going to actually work. One that I find in particular that works constantly is going to be this guy, this green and white. I don't know if it's just the way that when this is gliding through the water, when the sun hits it and the way it reflects, but my God, I actually got to get a couple more of these in this particular color because it works. Maybe you're fishing a weedier area and you want to throw something where you can kind of take it through the weeds but not have to worry about it getting hung up or dragging a whole bunch of weeds back with you. You can look at a jig, a weedless jig. Okay, so over top of this, if you see that over top of that hook, you have this. Okay, that protects. It doesn't protect, it just keeps weeds from getting hung up on the actual hook. And again, it comes in many different colors, so you just kind of have to figure out what works. I really am digging this blue and black color, and this is a more neutral brownish green color, and this one also works extremely well. And for whatever reason, the walleye love it. So if you're not catching any pike, as long as there's a walleye around, you'll be reeling walleyes in on those. Okay, so next we're gonna go with crankbaits. Crankbaits, several different styles, sizes. You can get lipless crankbaits. Okay, so as you can see, this one does not have a lip, whereas something like this would be a square lip crankbait. You also can get, so here's the booyah. Okay, you can get something with a much more pronounced, larger flat lip, or you can get something with a really concaved small lip. And depending on the lip, that's going to play into several different characteristics of what the crankbait is actually going to be doing. So a much larger lip is going to cause this to dive really deep, whereas something like the square bill is not. Okay, so the square bill, as you can see, is very flat, and then something, let's take a look and see something like this. You can kind of see this lip has a little kind of comes up like that, and it's concaved in the middle. Okay, so depending on the lip, that's going to determine whether or not this is going to have a really wide wobble side to side, whereas something like this is going to have a really tight wobble side to side. Okay. And jerkbaits are going to kind of be the same thing along those lines. So here's a jerkbait. One way you can tell a jerkbait from a crankbait is just going to be, jerkbait has a really slender and narrow body, okay? It represents a minnow. Whereas the crankbaits have a much thicker, pronounced body. But the lip characteristics for the crankbaits does the same thing for the jerkbaits. One thing I will say is with the crankbaits, it's pretty much going to be a straight retrieve the entire time. Whereas a jerkbait, you can kind of suspend this just underneath the water. You can do a straight retrieve, but what I find that really works is going to be that snap and pause, okay? So you're going to reel this in, you're going to give it a little snap, and then you're going to just pause. And then you're going to repeat that process. And when you do that, this will start to dart all over the place, and that really entices the pike. And what's really cool is depending on how long the pause is, for whatever reason, when I'm fishing jerkbaits, if I kind of double the duration of the pause, it really starts to get the walleye going as well. And I catch a lot of walleye with just with a longer pause on a jerkbait. And if you never caught walleye on a jerkbait, let me tell you, it is a lot of fun. And if none of those work, you know, you can always go back to the old tried and true. And I'm sure, you know, your grandparents have fished with this. If you look in their tackle box, they probably have a couple. The old school musky plug. Okay. The yellow and red 5-diamond musky plug, or the red and white Red Devil musky plug. Fantastic. Work great. And one, you know what, honorable mention, I guess. So Live Target makes, if I'm not mistaken, I think it's Live Target that makes this. This lure is called Spike the Pike. Okay, this is a much more natural looking lure, as well as the movements. Okay, so it's got a jointed body. It just mimics a pike in the water. The last couple of years, I have been fishing a couple different sizes of these. My God, do they work. The action that this produces in the water is fantastic. And the cool thing about pike is, again, it's a predatory fish. They don't care what they eat, right? If they're eating another pike, if it fits in their mouth, they're happy. So that's the one thing that makes pike fishing so exciting, is it doesn't matter what you're throwing. As long as you kind of just find out where they're, what they like that day, they're going to bite. And pike always put up generally a pretty good fight. So yeah, that's why I fish for pike. And you know what, if I catch the occasional walleye here and there, then that just makes it a much better day. But why don't you guys leave me a comment down below? You tell me what you fish with, and if you like the video, please give me hit the like and hit that subscribe button. It'd be greatly appreciated. Until next time, guys, Corey with Twitch Fishing. Bye.